Hi everyone, we're back with another episode of Who Said What podcast. I'm Heba.
And I'm Nira.
And today we are going to answer a few questions that we got from our listeners. We've gotten several questions, but I've kind of compiled them into 10, hopefully. And we will answer those. So we're going to start with, Nira's going to ask me a question. So
I'll ask Heba a question. I realize sometimes when I listen to the podcast, it might not be obvious who's talking because I don't think we sound alike, but when I listen to us, we do sound alike.
Yes, we've had comments that people say that they can't tell anymore who's talking because our voices are quite similar. So now we'll try to make it more clear. Okay, Nira, this is Heba, and I'm asking Nira a question now. Somebody submitted this. A guy submitted this. I'm a foreigner. I'm a male trying to date in Egypt. I'm having a hard time meeting single women here. Any advice on how to go about meeting liberal women? Nira, please answer.
I feel you. And if I knew where to meet single women and single men, I wouldn't be single. I wouldn't be a single woman right now. I have a very hard time meeting single men in this country, so I wouldn't know what to tell you. I think as a man, it's a lot easier to date, regardless of where you're from or your age in Egypt. I think it's actually quite easy to date in Egypt if you're.
How is it quite easy though? He can't find poor guy. He can't find anybody.
I have a lot of guy friends, foreigners, and they never had an issue dating in this country at all because you have a lot of Egyptian women are attracted to foreign men because the liberal woman, Egyptian woman, I don't know about that. I mean, you have a lot of people in Egypt, and I don't mean to generalize at all, and I don't mean to piss off anybody, but I find a lot of people, me being Egyptian, truly liberal-minded, I meet a lot of people that come off as being liberal, but in essence, they're not.
Okay, where do you meet these people? At the gym?
I've met a lot of guys at the gym.
Okay, so you need to be at the gym, buddy. You need to hit the gym.
You need to hit the gym. Of course, when you meet people at the gym, there's a level of superficiality to it because, everybody's checking everybody out. So there's that level of superficiality. I wish there was like a book club that you could join or something like that because there's none of that in Egypt. Maybe there are a couple of bars where you can meet people, but people in bars don't really approach other people in Egypt. It's not something that you do.
They don't do that? Well, I know they didn't do that like 20 years ago.
They still don't do that.
They still
if I wanted to, like, there's sometimes I go out and I see we're like me and the guy like maybe staring at each other. I wouldn't be worried about talking to them because a lot of times, and I'm not talking a lot of times, they're married in a relationship, not necessarily married, but let's say in a relationship, and I find Egyptian men take it the wrong way. Because at my age, I'm 46, a lot of...
You're not helping this male foreigner
I know,
out.
But the thing is, I honestly...
How about dating apps?
Oof.
Okay, that's a whole other
discussion. I can't say anything. Well, I know a lot of my guy friends are on dating apps and they have a very easy time finding women. I went on a dating app for 2 weeks and got off of it because it was. I
ran for the hills?
No. I got harassed by some people. It was just weird, and I don't know how they got my number because some of them started calling me. So dating apps is not. I can't get.
But if he's a guy, because I actually have a friend of mine who enjoys the dating app. He says it's really easy to meet women here. We have
a friend of the family also who uses, I think, Bumble. Bumble? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
App. And he has no issue with it. I think Tinder, not so much. I think Bumble is a new thing.
So for sure, then dating apps. So I would say dating apps and also the gym. Anywhere else?
And be careful. Don't trust everything that they tell you. Honestly. I knew this guy who came from Canada. He's Egyptian. He grew up in Canada, came here, met a girl, got married, and she went completely psychotic on him. Literally. So now he can't see his daughter and stuff like that. So, bardu, yani, you have some Egyptian women who want to get married for the passport. So just be careful. That's all I have to say.
Beware.
For foreign men, I just say be careful because the Egyptian women are like chameleons. They can act like honey and sugar and everything is great and all of that stuff, and once you put a ring on it, it's a completely different story. So honestly, just be careful. Maybe the gym is the best place to meet people. Dating apps probably are also a good way because you can filter and there's no commitment that is involved seriously.
And you know what you're getting into, I guess, at the beginning, from the get-go.
So that's my advice. I don't do dating apps.
I don't understand dating apps. They freak me out. But anyways,
They totally freak me out.
This is another discussion. We're going to tackle that on another episode.
Exactly. So, answered that question. Now, this is Nira, and I'm asking Heba a question. So somebody submitted a question saying they're married. Obviously, this is a female person. She's married, and her and her husband's sex life is practically non-existent. Is that a bad thing? Heba?
Okay, I have lots of experience in this one. Okay, firstly, I would have to say, depending on how long you've been married, right? If you've been married for more than 6 months, I get it. Because okay, no, married longer than 2 years, I get it.
But I would assume it's not a good thing
To have a non-existent sex life?
Yeah.
Why? It could be really cool. It's like you have a full-time roommate that you can like watch TV with and like.
And yeah, but don't guys have? I'm spitballing here, people. This is Nira. Okay, I've had a lot of guy friends. I'm assuming that I'm not saying that the woman is withholding sex, but if sex is important to a relationship.
Okay. Well, this is good. Oh my God, this can be like a whole
Another
episode.
episode.
Okay, let me just try. I'm going to try to keep it a little bit short. First of all, once you've been married, and I've been married twice, right, Nira? Okay, so after a couple of years, I hate to say this, it gets boring with the same person. It gets boring, right?
Of course.
Then, so it's normal for the sex life to it like declines. You're not having sex very often, okay? Now you throw kids into the mix and that's a disaster because then you're busy, you're tired, you don't have anything. Of course, sex is important for a relationship. But if I'm going to speak from my own experience, when you're as a woman, as you get older and you're like, you maybe gain a little bit of weight, you're so busy with the kids, you don't feel attractive. You don't want to have sex with your husband. Maybe you want to have sex with other people, but not with your husband.
What if she feels plenty attractive?
Well, I'm talking generally. Well, if she's attractive and she's having sex with her husband, maybe he's having sex with somebody else.
That's my point.
No.
You see, but I'm not saying...
Yeah, that's...
I'm not...
Okay. Oh my God, yes, I didn't even think about that. No, I'm just talking about generally that they have a good relationship. That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about it in the more positive sense. These two people have a good relationship, but they've been married for many years, and they have kids. They have busy lives. They're older. They're now in their 40s, maybe 50s. Sex is not as important for anybody that's getting a little older than it is when you're in your 20s and 30s. I think 30s is the best. 20s, even as a woman, you're not very interested in sex as much as you are in your 30s. But I'm talking about a married...
But I'm assuming... Okay, this is Nira. But I'm assuming a man doesn't lose the need.
He doesn't have the need that he has when he was 20 and when he's in his 20s.
Don't men peak at different times in their lives?
They peak at 28 and that's it. It's downhill from there, sister.
Then what about what's his name, like Hugh Hefner, that was still dating and screwing when he was in his 80s?
He probably wasn't screwing them. He had money.
Okay, but what about the Anna Nicole Smith, the billionaire she married? Okay, fine, she married him.
Probably had sex with him once.
But I don't know. I'm just like...
I'm talking maybe I'm not getting into because I don't know all the details. I'm just saying that if you're older, yeah, your sex is not your main priority. You have other things going on in your life. You have work, you have kids, you have activities, you have going to the gym. There's a ton of other things. The last thing on your mind is sex. For me, maybe the guys, that's not the last thing on their mind. From what I've heard, if you are in that zone of not having sex, if you have sex once a month, that's very good. So I would say if you guys are having sex more than 5 times a year, you're doing good.
Oh my God, I'm not married, and I have to say that I think I would kind of disagree with Heba.
Yeah, I know.
Because I have friends of mine, I'm 46, I have friends of mine that have gotten divorced recently and stuff like that, a bunch of people I know. And well, one friend of mine in particular, he got divorced, and he was just telling me how it's like everybody's sleeping with everybody at our age. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not just saying
Married?
no.
Monogamous?
No. I'm saying they're dating and stuff like that, and they got married again. So monogamy, yes, you know. So I got the impression from this friend of mine, from the stories he told me about other guy friends of ours and other girls, that you know, for some odd reason, sex is an important thing for a lot of people. So
Oh, obviously, it's very important for a lot of people. I'm not saying it's not important, but what I'm saying is that, again,
Okay,
the question, I'm talking about the question. I assumed maybe falsely. I'm talking about kind of my own thing. If we've been married for over 12 years. Has it been 12 years? 13 years almost. After a certain amount of years,
Probably.
I don't know anybody who has been married for over 10 years who's like having regular sex
no,
all the
of
time.
course not. No,
I don't know
agree.
that.
No, I agree.
I
with
even
that.
was telling this friend of mine who's single in his 40s. I told him, we don't have sex. We don't have sex very often. It's a rarity. He's like, of course, you're married. He's like, all of my friends that he knows that are married, he's like, none of them are having sex. It's only the single people that are having sex.
Okay.
So, anyways, but it's true. I'm sure this is not.
But
I don't know.
Definitely. And I had two couple friends of mine that they're now divorced. So that probably she's right. Eva's right. They went through like a sexual renovation in their marriage, where they got the Kama Sutra book and they started doing all the positions on the Kama Sutra book. And it's weird because they're two different couples that don't know each other at all. And
that was the same thing. The Kama Sutra book provided them.
They're like, oh, you know, we're reading the Kama Sutra book, and like within 6 months they got a divorce. So it was it was like the final hurrah before they
Let's have a fuck fest for the next 6 months and bye
they
bye.
get divorced. So
Okay, so I don't know what that says.
I don't know what that says either.
Okay, so I tried to answer the question, but I think I'm lost now, and I think I might buy a Kama Sutra book. And no, actually, I won't. Otherwise, that means I'll be divorced. Anyways, okay, so
Sorry if we confused you more.
I hope that helped you. Don't feel insecure if you're not having sex with your husband very much. But I mean, you know, it'd be good to ask him once in a while, like, you know, maybe see if he's doing extracurricular activities. Anyways, okay. But I think it's kind of normal.
Okay.
And anyways, a lot of it beats being able to have like your best friend hang out with you on the sofa,
Absolutely.
you know, watching a movie, having popcorn, then
Honestly, I can tell there's nothing to worry about. I'm single and I haven't had sex in years, so who knows?
there you go. Single, married, we're all not having sex these days.
Exactly.
Okay, so Nira, I have another question for you. Okay. I'm an older American gentleman living in Egypt and I have a hard time making friends. I've tried softball, joining groups on Facebook. I'm now trying golfing. What advice do you have for me?
What do I like? Am I?
Because you have lots of friends. You're sociable.
I'm sociable, but I've had lots of friends that I've curated over years. It's not like I've met them randomly. I don't think golfing is the way to go, because that's a one-man sport. You're just going to be talking to your caddy and you know, hitting the ball with the club. So I don't know. I mean, golf is a very one-man sport.
But I think you can find people there at the golf course that you can kind of.
I don't play golf, so I'm the wrong. I don't play golf, so I'm the wrong person to ask. But you know, actually, I found a lot. You know, just hit me right now. I don't do this because I couldn't care less. Of course, you meet people when you work out, always. One place where I found I don't do it, but I find my best friend does, and there are a lot of people I know that are in CrossFit. CrossFit, you make a ton of friends because you're all suffering together, you're all tired together, you're all the coach is putting you guys through hell. I find there's a lot of camaraderie in those kind of workout situations. Golfing is a no-no. Golfing, you're just sitting there looking at a field and hitting the ball. It's a one-man thing.
So not just the gym on your own, to join a class or something.
Join a class or something, and not join any class. Join a class where you have to partner with somebody, because a lot of the CrossFit is very much you have a lot of times you have a partner, and you guys are supersetting together. So if you're doing 10 sets, they're doing the other 10 sets, and then you switch.
Okay.
So I know a lot of my friends are in these different CrossFit groups. Like I have one friend of mine that's in Sheikh Zayed in Beverly Hills, this one thing there. And a ton of, I work out in the...
To mention, what are the gym's names, actually?
Well, I don't know. Okay. I work out in the Gazira Sporting Club. So Gazira Sporting Club, and foreigners can easily become members. It's very easy for foreigners to be members. And around the track, there are different, it starts from 7:30, and there's a class, I think, from 7 to 8, 8 to 9.
That's where, the Gazira? Okay, but what if, like, people...
And there are different groups. There's a CrossFit that's with Coach Ayaz, and there's another group thing with another coach. All of it is in the track at the Gazira Club. I have a friend of mine that lives in Beverly Hills, Sadiq, Alegria, whatever it's called. There's a gym there outdoor where they do CrossFit as well. And I know he meets a lot of people through that.
There's also Elevate. They have one in Sheikh Zayed and Caloria 40, and they have a lot of those classes as well. And they have one in Tagama now.
Exactly. I think that if you want to meet people there, that's definitely the way to go. They're strenuous activities. I think that's... I would honestly wouldn't know where else you can get to know.
That's pretty good.
I would say a bar and stuff like that, but Egyptians tend to be very cliquey and don't really socialize except for the people that they come with.
Yeah.
So I find workout situations, it's very much mixed between foreigners and Egyptians, and that's a very good place to meet people.
Yeah, good advice.
Okay, so now my question to Heba. Who is your favorite character from Family Guy? Was it Megdi that sent you this question?
Of course it is. Okay, so Megdi, my answer to you is, I would think you would like the same character. Stewie, of course. I mean, Stewie's brilliant.
Mom.
But you know what? I always have question marks around him. First of all, it's so cool that he has a British accent, but he lives in...
New Jersey?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. Megdi, where do they live? Peter Griffin, the Griffin family. Anyways, first of all, he has a brilliant British accent, and I love it. And this was one thing also that I think Megdi and I have this connection with the Family Guy because we haven't seen each other in years, but basically we connect on that point. You know why Stewie's head is like in the shape it is, right?
Did somebody got hit with a football, the mother when she was pregnant, or his head? Or...
No. He was jumping on the bed. He kept on jumping on the bed. And then Brian came to him and told him, Stewie, stop jumping up and down on the bed. And he like slammed really hard on the ceiling, and his head was like squished into that shape. And since then, it's always been the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like that was an episode that came after. Obviously, it was a backstory about why his head is shaped like that. Also, I'm very confused about whether they hear what he says or not, because sometimes I know Brian does. He has conversations with Brian, the dog.
The dog, yes.
But if anybody else hears him, I don't know, because sometimes his mother acts like she does hear him and she answers his question. But then there are times where, like, she'll be saying something to him. Like, there's this one thing where she's telling him, she's singing, like, a nursery rhyme to him. And he's answering back, like, fuck you, bitch.
Oh, yes, I love that one.
You cunt. So, obviously, she can't hear him when he's saying that. So, I'm always confused because there are times where it looks like she's answering him like she does hear him. And other times, she clearly, obviously doesn't hear him because he's being horrible. And his moments where he gets, like, drunk... Oh my god, I've got a gash. You remember that one? It's hilarious.
The wall kept getting closer and closer.
I know. And when he was drunk, he took the car and he plowed into the bar that they go to.
The wall kept getting closer and closer. I couldn't stop.
I know, it's so funny. So yeah, Stewie, on that note, Stewie is my favorite character. Obviously, he is super cute.
Super funny.
Super funny. Ma.
What?
Hi.
What?
Hi. So funny.
That reminds me of you and Megdi, actually.
Exactly. Okay, so there's this other question now, Nira, I have for you. I am experimenting with my bisexual identity. Do you think it is safe to come out to my friends? This is serious, Nira.
I know it's serious. Let me think. Okay. I've had some friends have come out to me, actually, but they weren't bisexual. They were gay. One friend was extremely worried, and it was really funny, actually. He came out to me, but it was because another gay guy outed him in front of me. So this gay friend of mine, I suspected that he was gay. He left Egypt and then came back full on gay, out of the closet, proud, gay and proud. And I'm very I think it's very impressive when people come out. I think it's a very difficult thing. And then me and this friend of ours, my friend of mine, that we're hanging out, and this other friend of mine that I've known even longer, who I always suspected was, but I everybody should come out and tell the people when they want to, when they're ready to. But this friend of ours, he outed him in front of me. So of course should you come out to your friends? I mean, it's really, if you trust your friends, I mean,
I think if they're your friends, they should accept you, right?
Absolutely. I think friends should accept you for everything about you. So if you really love your friends and you know that they won't judge you and stuff like that, absolutely. And regardless of whether they judge you or not, I think you should, because that's being true to yourself. And to be true to yourself, it's very difficult to have true relationships with friends, even when there's a part of you that you're hiding from them.
It must be difficult too to be living a double life. It's basically you're living a double life if with your friends you can't be honest with them. I think with your close friends, for sure, I think you should be honest with them.
I find a lot of people here in Egypt also, maybe more my age group, the older age group. The friend of mine that left Egypt and came back, he came out to his parents. So once he came out to his parents, he could tell anybody. I think the biggest fear some people have here in Egypt is coming out to their friends, the fear of their parents finding out. I think the biggest thing is the fear of the parents finding out that their daughter or their son is gay. And that's why they don't tell a lot of people. So obviously, I would say definitely tell your friends, because you need to be completely honest with them, and you need to be honest mostly with yourself and really, really true to yourself, because if you're proud of who you are, you have nothing to hide, honestly, nothing at all. Coming out to your parents, obviously, that's a completely different story, and that I think people will figure out on their own. But I also believe that parents love their children regardless of their sexuality. So I don't think you should be afraid to tell your parents either. But I understand the very old school and very traditional and very religious people have issues with that. So, but if you're telling your friends, I think absolutely you should tell your friends.
Okay, good advice.
Also, they're a very good support system, friends. Okay, so my turn to ask Heba a question. What is the biggest fear you have? Is that the biggest fear? And what steps have you taken to overcome it? Shit, I don't even know how to answer that question.
Nira, I think you need glasses. How did you not see that?
What is your biggest fear and what steps have you taken to overcome it?
Yeah, there was a part there that you didn't know what it was. Okay, but this I think could be for both of us. What is my biggest fear? If I'm going to be really, really, really basic fear, I have a massive fear of speaking in public. So, and I remember, like literally, I have this horrible, horrible fear. I mean, I have so many other fears, but I'll just say that one that's more obvious that I'm okay with sharing right now. What steps have I taken to overcome them? I don't know. I've matured, I guess. And so maybe there's some topics I'm comfortable with, so I'm okay talking in public. And some things, if I don't know very much about them, I would probably not be comfortable at all speaking about them. But in my defense, that Seinfeld said once that the number one fear in the world is fear of speaking. That basically is the fear before fear of death. Fear of death comes second.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what was that thing he said? He said, so basically, most people would prefer
Prefer to be dead than speak in public?
would rather be dead than speak at their own at their own wake. What eulogy?
Well, give a
eulogy.
Give a eulogy.
So basically, they would rather be in the casket than give their own eulogy. That was what Seinfeld said. But yeah, apparently, I didn't realize it's such a big fear. But that was one of my biggest fears. Overcoming it, basically, just putting myself out there and getting out of my comfort zone, which is horrible sometimes. But anyways, so yeah. How about you, Nir? Do you have any fear that you want to share?
I don't know if I have any severe fears, to be honest with you. I definitely don't have a fear of talking in public. Definitely don't have a fear of dying. I almost died one time, but death doesn't scare me, I guess. It's going to happen eventually. I think probably one of the fears, it's not a great fear, but it's a fear of being fat again.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you overcome that? You fast with me.
I go to the gym every fucking day.
That's true. When you put in 20,000 steps, that's what it is then. That makes sense then. She's always, you're always out and about, and it's like, I'm always like, it's crazy. You like work out 7 days a week.
Yeah, I don't have, when I think about it, I don't have a fear of being alone. Speaking, I think I accept all of these things in my life. Being fat again is like terrifying for me. I have nightmares sometimes.
Seriously? That like a fat person coming after you wanting to eat?
Or that I'm eating nonstop and I can't stop and I'm gaining weight and I see myself gaining weight and it's really terrifying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think that's the only one.
I've never realized that.
Yeah, probably.
That's
yeah, that's it. I don't think I'm really afraid of anything else.
Cool. Okay. There's another question that I think both of us can kind of find ways. I can answer a part and you can answer another part. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how much emphasis should we put on romantic relationships versus finding fun and fulfillment in other aspects of our lives? I guess, I'll answer that part. And Nira, you could answer the second part.
The second part.
The second part of it. Because it's how much emphasis. Okay. I'm one that I value relationships, and I think they're very important. And I think happiness and a lot of this thing is in relationships. The core of your happiness. I don't think it's in these other superficial things that we put like career or money, or I think it's relationships that you build and you grow with family, with friends, with even mentors, or so I think.
Okay.
So, but what? Tell me.
Relationships in general, but romantic relationships. Do you really think that somebody needs to be in a romantic relationship to feel fulfilled? Have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other, basically.
Yeah, this is a complicated question. Okay.
The second part of the question, actually,
finding fun and fulfillment in others and aspects of our lives. Okay, well, I don't necessarily think romantic relationships. I think relationships are important, not necessarily romantic, but I think you need to find the connection with people. For me, those are extremely important for me, and I value those a lot, and they make me feel happy. When I have good relationships and I have a good connection with people in my family or my husband or my kids, or those to me are the most important things in my life. So I find they're very important, and I try to nurture them, and I try to always find ways to keep those, I don't know, thriving, let's say. I don't know how to say it. So the other part of the question, do you want to read it and answer it, Nira?
So the other part of the question is it possible to be truly happy single? And what other kinds of relationships do you need, like friendship, collaboration, community?
I kind of answered that. Sorry about that.
No, what? I mean, we're both answering these questions. Okay, so is it possible to be truly happy single? Definitely, obviously, I'll answer that question because I've been single I've never been married. Definitely. I think it's possible to be happy single. I think it's not easy for some people to be single. But if you enjoy your own company and you enjoy being with you and you appreciate who you are, being single is easy.
I think so. Like I see a lot of single people that are really happy, and I see a lot of
Married people that are really depressed. But I see a lot of married people that are also really happy, and I see a lot of single people that are also really depressed.
So I think I don't think you can do them like completely separate. It's not either or. I think they're not mutually exclusive.
They're not.
I think you can be single and happy. I have a lot of my mother's super happy that she's single. She loves to do things. You know, she loves to read. She works.
Well, our mother is pretty.
She keeps busy all the time.
Independent too.
She's independent. She loves her life being single. I think she really is great at it.
I like being single, and the times that I've gotten into relationships, when they're not good relationships, it reminds me that I was much better off single. Yeah. Sometimes when if you get into a good relationship, it's a good relationship. You have a good, nice boyfriend, and it's great, and things are lovely, and he buys you flowers, and sex is great, and all of that stuff. But sometimes when you're in a shitty relationship, you're better off being single.
Amen. Definitely. Okay.
Friendships are very important because they stay with you all the time. It's like having a good relationship with your family, having a good relationship with your friends. Those are the people you can depend on, well, most of the time.
I'm not going to get too much into this, but friendships can come and go too.
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
I've lost a lot of those.
Family is the only one that sticks, basically.
So the last one. How do you not get sucked into the likes and dislikes, followers, etc.? How do you protect yourself? Well, I have to say to this person who asked me that question, that is very sweet of them and very optimistic, because we only have 80 followers on our podcast. And it's not like I'm not
the Instagram.
I don't know, but I'm just saying I don't have neither one of us has a huge following. We're not social media influencers. So we don't necessarily have any likes or dislikes. Actually, not getting likes or dislikes can be kind of depressing too. You know, you want to have people engage with you. So we're not at that stage really, I think. I mean, I don't feel that kind of pressure.
But also, I agree. I don't feel that kind of pressure. And I don't really care what people think. I do care what people think, but their negativity, I try to, you protect yourself against people's negativity, not the dislikes and likes.
But I think generally me and you don't really have any of the likes and dislikes that we've had, not really. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, and I was in PR for a long time, so even bad publicity is good publicity, so it doesn't really matter. If somebody has something negative to say about you, that means that people are talking about you, even if it's something not what you would like. But if they're talking about you in a negative way or in a positive way, your name is getting out there, so they're still talking about you. So good publicity is bad publicity always.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, I don't have that experience, but looking at other people who get so much backlash and so much negative comments, I feel it must be really, really tough to be a social media influencer and to have so many followers, because I can imagine that even if you're immune to it, even if you have all the confidence in the world, I'm sure these comments will get to you at some point. So how to protect yourself? I don't think there's any way to protect yourself against it. I think nobody is immune to it.
You just have to get used to it,
I guess.
And grow thick skin, and whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, right? So.
Exactly. Okay, on that note, we just wanted to say we had a great time at Rise Up Summit last Friday. Nira and I were part of a panel discussion with our moderator, Claire Safine. We spoke about women entrepreneurs,
empowering women in the creative realm.
Okay, exactly. And it was a great turnout. We had great questions from the audience. It was a lot of fun.
It was nice to discuss our experience as first-time entrepreneurs and how we started a business and sold our business.
We spoke about the 4 Fat Ladies in detail, and not too much detail because it was only like 25 minutes long, but it was great to share a story, and we had a lot of good feedback. And Claire Safine, our moderator, was great. We had a great discussion with her, and she has her own business that's really interesting. It's a concept store that has a lot of local fashion brands that's located, what is it called, Nira?
It's called Story, and it's located in Garden 8 Tegamo, I think on the 2nd level.
Okay. So. Yeah. And so she has a very interesting story in how she came about this whole fashion scene. And basically, I think we're going to have her on the podcast sometime soon.
So Claire's store is called Story, and it's located in Garden 8 on the 2nd level. And you should also follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram page is called at Story Cairo. And definitely, we loved getting questions from the audience, and that's why we decided to do this episode on Q&A from people that have submitted questions. And definitely keep those questions coming, because there's so much fun for us to answer them and so much fun to interact with you guys.
So definitely don't shy away from that. Send us a DM with any of your questions on Who Said What podcasts on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe and follow. And you can find our podcast on all of the podcast platforms, mainly Apple, Spotify, Deezer. So yeah, on that note, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. See you later.